Okay, confession time. I just spent 2 hours playing through a game while entirely forgetting his ability. So instead of having to put a caveat at the beginning of every video that, oh, I forgot to do this, I just decided to replay the game. I reset the board per the setup video previous, and we're just going to move forward from there. Okay, so the first thing you do in a turn, this first turn I'll go over the rules as briefly as I can. The first phase, each player's turn is broken down into a number of phases: the event phase, the recruitment phase, the tactical phase, the combat phase, the retirement phase, and the end of turn phase. Now, in a multiplayer game, one player will be the commander, and then play will go around clockwise. The commander token is important for what's about to happen next, the first phase, because this first phase would only happen during the commander's phase. Because this is a one-player game, every phase is the commander phase. In a multiplayer game, you will only draw and play event cards during the commander's turn. So you won't do it during other player 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever's turn. So, during the event phase, the first thing you do is you look to see if you have any global effects on the board. And we don't, not for the recruitment phase. If you look at El Guapo, he's got a global effect, but it's for the tactical phase. So you'd be looking for something that says global effect event phase. We have none. So what we do is we draw the top event card, and it's a Venom Strikes. That's about the worst one you can get to start the game with. So what happens is you're going to have these markers over here that you use throughout the game. This moves up to 1, and you consult your mission board. And you look at the number 1 event. Venom has activated the red control cube. This reward no longer provides its bonus to players. It is still worth victory points to the player who captured it. In a multiplayer game, you establish victory points to see who had the better Freedom Squad. Alright, so next we move into the recruitment phase. And again, you look to see if there's any global abilities that affect the recruitment phase. We have none. So we'll go to playing the cards from my hand, which this is just my entire deck. I need to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that should leave me with 5 cards in my draw pile. We'll set that aside. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 recruitment points, allowing me to buy any one of those 3. We're going to need to get rid of El Guapo because I don't want to keep forgetting his ability. So I will buy the Avalanche. And that gets put into our discard pile. Now, in the recruitment phase, you play every card in your hand, but you can choose in what order to play them, because some cards may have recruitment abilities that may affect how the rest of your turn goes. These were all very basic cards, so playing them all at once didn't really matter. From here, we move on to the tactical phase. The first thing you do in the tactical phase is you choose a Venom leader to attack. We're going to choose El Guapo, because El Guapo has an ability that reads, Global Effect Tactical Phase. When combating any other Venom leader, lower the combat leader's combat value by -2. Now, we've been avoiding him because he has a support value of 4, and in the first game I played, we found that almost overwhelming. So we were going after other leaders to build up a deck, but I forgot about his ability. So we're going to go after him. Now, after you select who you're going after, you adjust these to match his health of 2 and his defense of 3. That just reminds you, and those are going to change. It's important to have a track because those are going to change quite a bit at the end of this phase. Now, he has no other global effect abilities. So now we choose a combat leader. I'm going to choose a commando because all I have is commandos and recruits don't have a combat value. So they're not really good as team leaders. So I'm going to select a commando as my team leader, and he's going to be supported by the other 4 cards. So he gets 2 dice because of his combat ability, And then these guys are all going to contribute 1 because in the tactical phase, they give the combat leader +1 combat value. So that's 4 dice for the 4 cards. Now, El Guapo's not just waiting to get his butt kicked. He's got an army of his own waiting for us there up in the Arctic Circle there. So he has the support value here, 4. That means we're going to draw 4 Venom support cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, normally we'd go down here and play any combat abilities that we have, but these are all basic cards. They don't have combat abilities. So now we shift up here. This Komodo is going to give him +2 armor. That Wasp is going to give him another +1 armor. The Venom Glider, lower the combat leader's combat by 2. So that takes away his 2 dice. And then the Night Striker, combat phase, reroll all combat dice with a roll value of 6 once. If a second Night Striker is assisting, reroll all combat dice with a value of 5 once as well. Well, we're going to lose very, very hard. Because, see, we need... His defense is the number that we have to roll on a d6 to get a success. His health is the number of successes we need to get. So it's possible we need to get 2 6s on 4 dice twice. Whoops. Oh, it was even a 6 that I dropped. But because of the Night Strikers, any 6s we roll, we have to re-roll. So we got none. We got no successes. So this is what was happening last time. Those 4 support cards are brutal. So we didn't defeat him. So this all drops down. And we go into the retirement phase, which is my favorite phase of this game. It's what really, to me, sets this game out from a lot of the other deck builders. You can retire 1 card. Now, the Avalanche gives us 2 recruitment points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to retire a Recruit, because it also gives us 2 recruitment points. So it helps keep our deck lean. So we put that into the retirement pile. And that keeps our deck at 10 cards. You know, one of my big problems with a lot of other deck building games, especially those by Cryptozoic, is while I love the themes and I love some of the mechanics, by turn 5 or 6, your draw deck looks like that. And you're starting to buy cards you're never going to see. So it becomes, why am I even bothering? What's the point? I like this because you can always keep your deck fairly lean and you have a good chance of seeing cards that you buy even in the late game. Alright, so these get discarded. This gets replaced. Discard the cards that I played and draw 5 more cards. 3 commandos, 2 recruits. So at the start of turn 2, now we will retire that event and play another Venom Strikes. So that will move to 2. The second event, they have activated the yellow control cube. So things are not looking well for us out of the gate here. All right. Whoops. Put it up there. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 recruitment points, which is enough to buy Phalanx. So I'm going to buy Phalanx. He'll go into my discard pile. We're going to go after El Guapo again. So we're choosing to go after El Guapo. So we'll set the health to 2, the defense to 3. Once again, I'm going to choose a commando. supported by everyone else. So he gets 2 dice. I get 4 dice. El Guapo gets 4 of these cards. Alright, so the Night Strikers are going to make me reroll all 6s. The Hydra, lower the combat leader's attack value by 1. So he loses a die. The Constrictors, reroll 1 successful combat die and subtract 1 from its new rolled value. And the Soul Flayer, discard 1 freedom support vehicle. It has a little vehicle symbol. We have no vehicles, so thankfully that means nothing to us. Alright, so we don't lose any. Oh, we lost 1 die. So we're going to. Thankfully, his defense didn't increase at all. So we have a good defense. It's just we're going to have to reroll natural 6s and 1 success. So we have no natural 6s. And well, that success to make it another 4. So we have 4 successes, which is enough to overcome his 2 health. So El Guapo would normally go into your victory pile because he was worth victory points at the end of the game. But since we're just 1 player, we're just going to remove him from the game. And we gain the reward card. Hunt for the Golden Fleece. A strange golden coil dropped by a UFO and recovered by a Freedom Squadron sends several agents back into the past. There they help Jason find the Golden Fleece before Venom agents, who were also transported back, get their hands on it. Once per game, use this card to look at the top 3 event cards of the event deck and put them back in any order you choose. I'm going to do that now, so I don't forget later. So I'll remove that from the game to look at the top 3 event cards. Because the Venom Strikes, that's definitely going to go on last. We have 1 that combat can only occur in sky zones. And 1, when revealed, retire all vehicles from the training grounds and refill as needed. We'll keep this. We'll put them back on the bottom, in the middle, on top. Alright, so now in the retirement phase, I recruited Phalanx, who actually doesn't give me any recruitment points. So I am not going to retire anybody. Because I don't want to lose any potential recruitment, I don't think. And I like the idea of keeping my deck at 10 cards, though. Yeah, I'll retire a commando. We'll discard those. Discard all these. Reset these to 1. We will replace the reward and put in a new commander, Octavia. And then I shuffle my discard pile. Create a new draw deck. Oh, first we replace. Oh, I was hoping to be something cheap, since I got rid of a card that gives me recruitment points. Oh, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got commando, recruit, commando, phalanx, and a recruit. Alright, so that does it for turn. What do we do? 2 turns? That's turn 1 and 2. So we'll return with the next video with turns 3 and 4.